Do those numbers mean something in particular to you?
They mean call the toxicologist.
Okay.
Basically, as a medical examiner, I can say that we know that he reportedly had a drink at bedtime, so that might explain that presence of ethanol, or it could be decomposition, either one. We know that he was not reported to be taking any medication, so then I have no explanation for the quetiapine or the norfentanyl or fentanyl or the acetylfentanyl.
You've already said if for someone who is not using fentanyl that the 15 nanograms per milliliter in the blood was potentially toxic.
Correct.
How about the 20,000 nanograms per milliliter in the stomach contents?
I can honestly say, since I haven't talked to a toxicologist in over 3 years, that I would defer to them because it sounds like a lot, but without having reference ranges to go by or someone to consult, I would not jump on that bandwagon by myself.
Quetiapine, did you find any evidence that he had been prescribed quetiapine, either through Doppel or through the medicines that you looked at?
No, and I didn't see any mention of it in the medical records that I had reviewed at that time, so.
Okay. Well, that's a good point. When you made your report, were you able to come to an opinion, a conclusion?
Yes.
About cause and manner of death?
Yes.
And at that time, what was it that you were relying on to render this opinion?
So I was relying on information that was provided by family members on how he'd been feeling or how he'd been acting. I was relying on information that was acquired by our death investigator. I was relying on information provided by law enforcement. And then I was also reviewing medical records from the physicians that I knew of that I could get records from.
Okay. In addition to your own observations of autopsy.
Right, and then in addition to,
Lab
reviewing
reports.
Doppel and seeing what his history was.
Okay, so what was your opinion of the cause of death?
My opinion of the cause of death was drug intoxication by fentanyl.
In addition to the NMS labs, was there other evidence that you looked at, specifically, say for example, pulmonary edema, that corroborated the information that NMS labs provided?
Yes, he had heavy lungs and foamy edema. Like I said before, some of that could have been contributed to the CPR, but it was still quite an abundant amount that was present. So I would have a hard time excluding that wasn't also caused by the drug intoxication.
That's primarily occurs due to opioids?
Yes.
And
it can happen with other medications too that cause respiratory depression,
but there weren't any other intoxicants or medications other than fentanyl
that were
quetiapine
prescribed or that were contributing.
that we know of. There was quetiapine found, fentanyl found.
Quetiapine can cause some sedation, but in this instance where we didn't initially see it in the blood,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to make of that since it was only seen in the gastric.
Okay. What opinion did you come to with regards to manner of death?
Could not be determined.
Okay, now, let's talk about that determination is guided by a statutory scheme. Is that true?
Yes, we have classifications that it's divided into, and basically it's for statistical purposes. It's not really designed for other purposes per se. And so we're limited to natural, accident, homicide. I'm just blanking here.
Suicide?
It's suicide, and then undetermined as well. And so because this investigation was still ongoing when I retired, I felt that could not be determined was the best solution for me to finish my report before I retired.
Okay. So, were there some, since the investigation's ongoing, you didn't have access to certain things?
Correct.
Did you have access to the forensic examination of electronic devices?
No.
Did you have access to financial documents investigation?
No.
Okay. At some point, do you release your report to family? Or
Yes, unless there's some reason not to.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
They need it for insurance purposes and just other documentary reasons.
okay. So on can we take a look at State's Exhibit 124, please?
The witness has it.
Do you recognize this?
No. Oh, it's scrolling through, so I'm.
Oh, okay.
It's a records request form.
Okay. There's some notations on it about ready for pickup and
You may need to zoom in, Mr. Burmester.
this record is from the Office of Medical Examiner, is it not?
Yes, but it's not something I would normally be looking at, so.
I see. Okay. We can, let's move on. During the course, following the death of Eric Richins, until the records were released, did you have an occasion to talk to Kouri Richins?
Yes, multiple times.
Okay. And how did that, mechanically, how did that operate?
She would call and leave a message with the front office staff. The front office would leave a message on my desk, a written actual message form.
Can we see State's Exhibit 122, please?
And then I would call her back.
Okay. With, is
Do you want her to see 122?
122?
My apologies, one moment. Witness can see it.
Okay.
Are those the slips that you received from your reception?
Yes.
Okay. And then, is it the policy of the OME to document when you talk to people, such as when you call?
Yes,
Kouri
we have a
Richins?
log form that we fill out.
Okay. I see State's Exhibit 123, please. Do you recognize that document?
Yes, it would have been information that I typed in from a conversation.
Okay. On March 17th and then later, April 21st of 2022?
Correct.
Do you have an independent recollection of those conversations today?
Not explicitly, no.
Okay. So, did Kouri Richins provide you certain information in those conversations?
Yeah, she provided me a lot of health-related information, indicated that he'd had Lyme disease 2 years ago, and that he was still having problems with neuropathy, so therefore he was getting treated for that. And that's apparently a chronic problem that you can have with Lyme if it's not treated right away with antibiotics. Also indicating that he wasn't feeling well currently or right before his death, that he was not feeling well in general and his chest hurt.
Did you explain to her about the granulomas that you observed?
Yes, and so the not feeling well and chest hurt could have been part of the problem with just recovering from COVID, as well as this granulomatous lung disease that he'd had from his chronic work exposure.
Okay. Did she offer up any other information to you?
That his mom had died from a fungal infection 3 years prior.
Okay.
And so, we did fungal stains just to make sure that his lungs weren't showing any indication of fungal pneumonia. And then just the fact that, he was a stonemason, and that's where he was getting this exposure to what I was seeing in these granulomas. So that was helpful to me because, he's cutting stone, so.
So you mentioned that you did this stain. That's part of the histology. You went back and looked for or was that the?
That was for the fungal organisms, yeah.
And did you exclude that?
Yes.
Okay. On April 21st, you had another conversation with Kouri Richins?
Yes, I did, and I believe that I indicated that the case was still ongoing. I asked if he ever had any history of drug use, and she said, other than just using some THC gummies, he had no history of drug use. So that was helpful.
Never used drugs is what your note says?
Correct.
Did she talk to you about those two substances on your list, the last one,
Yeah.
ETOH tests?
Yeah, the medications that are used for helping people not to drink. Is that what
Yes.
you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, basically he was being prescribed those medications to try and help with his chronic Lyme symptoms.
I see. Did she say he hadn't used those for a while?
Yes, that he hadn't taken any of it for 4 months.
I have one moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Are we admitting 122 or 123?
The state would offer State's Exhibit 123.
Any objection, counsel?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, no objection.
Okay. 1-23 is admitted.
No
Mr.
further-
Ramos is witness? Okay, very good. Didn't want to. Okay, very good.
Introduce 122 as well, or just 122?
Just 123. We can. I have no problem with doing 123.
Yeah,
It's just
can we do 122 as well?
Okay, very good. States 1-22 is also admitted.
Good afternoon, doctor.
Hi.
How's retirement? Besides today.
It's good.
Good.
I recommend it.
I'll get there one day. We talked about a lot, and I'm trying to kind of drink out of a fire hose, so I'll try to follow some semblance of a good timeline. But I want to talk about what you just left off on. You indicated chronic Lyme. Could you explain what that is?
So with Lyme disease, you can get kind of an antibody response that then also affects your body as it's trying to ward off the Lyme infection. And so you can end up with like chronic fatigue syndrome or peripheral neuropathy or things like that. Things that maybe more recently people would associate with long COVID. So
Okay. Is it painful? Bless you.
I guess it can be.
Yeah, you guess.
Yeah, I mean, peripheral neuropathy is definitely can be painful. So some people will just have tingly pinpoint feelings. Other people, maybe they just can't feel anything. So it varies from person to person. So.
And did you gather more information about Eric's Lyme disease and the pain that he was feeling?
No, I have not had the opportunity to review any of his medical records that I reviewed 3+ years ago. So my current recollection is limited to reviewing the information that I have available to me.
That's fair. Did you confirm that he actually had Lyme disease?
No, but it was in his medical record, I do believe.
Okay. Would you have been able to, having what you had at the time, you doing the autopsy, the records you had, would you have been able to confirm that?
I don't know how long the antibodies stick around, so I can't answer that effectively.
So possibly.
Possibly, but I don't know.
Okay. You indicated that one of the, and I can't remember which one, so if you can't remember, we'll pull up the medication that was listed. You mentioned opioid reduction for one of them. Do you recall that?
That's the naltrexone.
Naltrexone. And that was found in his system, correct?
No,
one was
naloxone
not.
was found in his system. That would have been given by when they were doing CPR, so that would have been given by EMS.
So the naltrexone, that's the one he had a prescription for.
Correct.
Tell me about opioid reduction. What do you mean by that?
So for people who are chronic abusers, whether it's using too much of their prescription medication or using illegal narcotics, and when they want to stop, then they might need something else to help them stop.
Okay. And do you recall how many were left?
Of the naltrexone?
Correct. Would it be helpful to pull it up?
Yes, it would be very helpful.
Just publish it just to
I want to say it was like
the doctor.
88 out of 90. So 90 were prescribed and there were still 88 present.
And how do you know, with the information you have, do you know how often they were, or Mr. Richins was told to take it?
If I were to go back and review the scene photos and look at the bottle, then yes.
But not with what you have.
Not with what I have, no.
Okay.
But this prescription was from 2020.
And do you know if those who are prescribed naloxone, is it something that you need to take daily, or does it vary just whenever you feel the urge, I guess?
I'm sure it's supposed to be taken on a certain time frame, but I don't know what that time frame
All right,
is.
no problem. Mr. Burmester was talking to you about the blood alcohol level, or rather the presence of alcohol. I'd like to talk about that now.
Mhm.
So you mentioned that initially there was no presence found in the initial testing, but then there was an expanded panel done, and it was at that point that it was found.
Well, it was found in a different sample.
Correct. The gastric.
So the initial testing was done on the vitreous fluid, which was negative.
And was it found in the blood?
No.
So in the vitreous and the blood, no alcohol found, correct?
Correct.
But then when with the expanded one, it was the gastric, is that correct?
Correct.
Now, does that tell you in your profession, and you had mentioned earlier that maybe it's a toxicologist world, so let me know if that's the case here, that does it tell you, those two things that you have, or I guess three, blood, vitreous, right, and then gastric, does it tell you kind of chicken before the egg, which one was ingested first? Can you tell me that?
I can tell you that there was no measurable intoxicant related to alcohol that was in his blood or vitreous.
And with your knowledge, if it's in your gastric, does that indicate timing-wise whether that was first and then it goes to the blood?
If it's from ingestion, I would say possibly. If it's from bacterial decomposition, then it doesn't tell us much.
Okay. And did you do any I don't know, additional tests or studies to try to determine that in this case?
No.
Okay. Was that asked of you?
No.
Okay. At any point, was it asked to determine whether or not the fentanyl was taken along with alcohol?
These are questions that I would not be able to answer because I don't think that they are answerable.
Okay. Actually, I'll go back to that. Let's go to the, was it 122, the calls, the messages, Katie? Can you just show that to just the witness judge? And page 2, please. Do you recall that?
Not specifically, but I mean, it's a typical note that we would get.
And this is one that was addressed to you.
Correct.
At the very bottom, there's a signature. Is that yours?
Yes, it says the call was returned on March 17th of 2022.
Perfect. Could we go to the case notes, Katie, for that same day, please?
It's over here.
123 can do it.
She has it as well.
Sorry, I didn't know it was posted for that. Is what's in front of you, is that for the March 17th that you returned that call?
Yes.
Okay. Now, on the case, is it called the case log, case notes? What would that?
Same thing.
Same thing. Is that automated?
Is it automated?
In terms of the, let me be more specific. Is
No,
it
I have to type it in.
But in terms of the time and date,
No,
it's not automated.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I don't know for a fact.
Okay.
Could we just do a?
Yeah. Could we not call it out? Yeah, just like that. So there you have a full view of what I see as case notes, case log, correct?
Right.
Okay, and so you can see that on the top it has a date, time, doctor, and I guess who's calling. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know, I know you're retired, whether you would have inputted that information, not the contents of it?
I believe I certainly would have entered the date and time. So yes, I think I would have entered that.
Okay. And
Because generally I would try and enter these as soon as I was done with the phone call. It didn't always happen in that fashion because I'll usually make paper notes and then, because you can't remember everything and you're not recording the phone call, so.
Correct. So when you get to the point where you are inputting it, correct me if I'm wrong, the purpose of inputting that information is that whoever's working on that case can have the information that you have.
As far as investigators and stuff?
Sure.
Sure, but mostly it's just a documentation of what happened.
That day.
Yeah.
Okay. And it seems like whenever calls were made to you, you did a pretty good job of summarizing what was discussed.
Yes, it was more for my recollection maybe than anybody else's.
Correct. And with that, kind of like you said, you were trying, or you indicated we. I imagine your team, correct?
Yes.
Does that include anybody outside of the Office of Medical Examiner?
No.
Okay. So people at the Office of Medical Examiner working on this case, notes for you to try to determine what the manner or cause of death is going to be in this case. Fair?
Correct.
And as people are calling you to get information, you're uploading all the contents of those calls, correct?
Yes.
And you do that with every call?
You try to do it, but sometimes you might be someplace, you might be in a situation where you can't, like if